What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks. And Tyler, we had another great night in the association. This has been so much fun. I have some takeaways, but let's start with you. What were your main takeaways from last night?
Yeah, I mean, that Milwaukee Philly game was pretty good. Milwaukee prevailed in the end, like we all thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than that, I didn't really catch much NBA. I was busy last night.
Okay. Well, yeah, I do want to talk about Milwaukee and Philly, right? And our guy, We the People, right? He says my best bet hit was Drummond double double and the win. So that was excellent, right? And we always appreciate everything he brings to the chat, right? But there's a couple things that we disagree with, right? Me and We the People. First one is the length of the NBA season, right? And that's like free will and determinism. We'll never really know who's right, okay? But the second, he always tells me that defense doesn't matter in the NBA. Did anybody see the end of that game last night? Did they just stand around and let Joel Embiid shoot that shot? Or was it Giannis's defensive prowess that led the Milwaukee Bucks to get that victory? So I'm taking my victory lap on that one. Defense does matters, and it showed last night. So, and Jonathan Nelson, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you on that one. So let's jump into it tonight. I can't wait to attack this card. We got a pretty big card here, Tyler. Oh, I'm on tennis odds. Let me switch to NBA odds.
Yep,
So I
11 games.
can't wait to dive in. What's up?
11 games on this slate.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Gary's in the chat. What's up, Gary? How are you doing today? Denver Nuggets are minus 9.5 against the Indiana Pacers. Total of 235.5, minus 482 for the Nuggets, plus 390 on the comeback for the money line. I don't know, Tyler. This is a lot. It's going to be hard to get me to bet the Pacers right now, but do I really want to lay 10 with the Denver Nuggets on the road? I did Holden's show on Monday, right? Holden does VSiN. He also, of course, does Run Pure Sports, but he does a VSiN CityCast where they focus on betting just Denver sports, right? And I went on there and I said, oh, well, the Nuggets are so bad on the road, and they're so good at home. And he said, not so fast, my friend, and you look up the numbers this year, and Denver's actually 22 and 15 at home, 23 and 16 on the road. So he kind of dispelled that old myth that I had, right? That they're so bad on the road. They've been doing better on the road this year, but still, do we want to lay 10 points or close to 10 points here with the Denver Nuggets? What are you thinking?
No, I'm not laying 10 here. I'm going right back to that Jokic, the over 40.5 points plus rebounds. I mean, he's in another spot where there's not going to be another big man on the other side. You look at this injury report for Indiana, they got a ton of guys listed questionable. Isaiah Jackson, Malcolm Brogdon, Gogo, Shea Brissett, Dwayne Washington. So they could still, in reality, punt this game and just sit all those guys. To where Denver could cover that 10, but I'm just going to go right back to that Jokic prop for this one. Going to stay away from the side.
All right, back on the Jokic prop. Yeah, and that makes sense to me. Any thoughts on the total here? 235 is pretty high. My thoughts are, if you do play it, why wouldn't you just take the Denver team total if you like the over, rather than rely on the Pacers to get you there? But boy, 235 is going to be attractive, especially when you're making DFS lineups. And I know there is some injury news on the Pacers that the people creating the lineups will be waiting on. What do you think of the total?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could go over. Indy's not going to play much defense, and Denver's been shooting well recently, so they can hang a buck 20 here. And if they start to blow them out, we all know they're going to pull the starters and get them rest, and that's when Indiana's going to start to pour on the score too. So lean towards the over, but yeah, for DFS purposes, if a lot of these guys sit, they're going to be playing a ton of Indiana guys tonight with this high total.
I mean, so what do you think here, dude? We got 5 Q tags: Isaiah Jackson, Malcolm Brogdon, Gogo Batadze, who I've always said doesn't matter. They don't even like him there. O'Shea Brissett and Dwayne Washington. Do you think these guys are going to play or no?
I think maybe 2 of them play.
Oh, okay. So
I think Brogdon sits, and I think O'Shea sits.
all right. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why they play Brogdon at this point. Seems like Brogdon's on his way out. The backcourt of the future is Halliburton and Duarte here. They couldn't trade Bogdan at this trade deadline. Something about the way the contracts work. I'm not Nate Duncan and Danny LaRose, so I don't know the whole CBA, right? But I know from listening to them that they could not trade Brogdon at the trade deadline. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him on his way out. So if I were them, I'd be really careful. Yeah, he says Brog shut down And that's what I would think. But I see him on this injury report on Fantasy Basketball Monster. That's what I'm on right now. But we'll see. Duarte is out. I don't know. Maybe they push him back into service. So I can't wait to see what these guys say on the Hardwood show because, we're kind of dismissive of this game, but I think it's going to be a really big game for daily fantasy purposes. So make sure if you guys are building a lineup that you check out the Hardwood Live show. But let's continue to give out some bets. The Dallas Mavericks in Cleveland taking on the Cavaliers. Cavaliers +2 at home. 214.5 is our total. +107 on the money line. Tyler, this was 4 last night, right? This was 4. And, I was thinking, okay, Dallas is going to take money. If it gets up to 5, gets up to 5.5, I'm going to be pretty tempted with Cleveland. But what happened here? Spencer Dinwiddie is ruled out of the game. Let me double check that, as well as Trey Burke and Theo Pinson. I don't know. Does that mean a lot to you, Tyler? I don't know if Theo Pinson adjusts my handicap that much.
No, not
Sterling
at all.
Brown, yeah, and Frankie Nichols or Knuckles or however we want to talk to him is questionable. Of course, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen out for the Cavaliers. With the line moving the way it is, I almost feel like you're getting 2 free points because obviously Dallas needs Dinwiddie long term. But for one night, we can easily absorb his usage with Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic. Now at this new number, -2, I absolutely love the Mavericks. What do you think?
Yeah, smash the Mavericks tonight, I think. I mean, this is another game. I talked about it last show. You got to start paying attention to the standings when you look at games like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now you look at tonight's board. They wiped the floor with Cleveland tonight. They're only one game back of Golden State to get that 3 seed. Golden State's got to go play Phoenix tonight. Golden State loses. Dallas jumps to 3. Now they have the ability to avoid Phoenix until the Western Conference Finals. Teams are going to be vying for those seeds to keep them away from them. So I think you're going to get the full effort out of Dallas here. Luka put up a triple-double last night. Now no Dinwiddie, more usage for him. I think he absolutely kills his team. Mobley's out, so they're going to have to play more Kevin Love and Markkanen. I mean, they can shoot as a front court. I don't think they can defend all that well. So give me Dallas here. They're going to eat at the rim. Luka's going to put up a huge number. I like his double-double and win at +160. And I even like his 30-plus points and win.
All right. Our guy, another Tyler in the chat. I don't know last name, Itwaru. Excuse me if I get that wrong. But Tyler wants to know, what about Kevin Love over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists?
I mean, I don't hate it. He's going to get the run to get those points, rebounds, and assists tonight with no Mobley. So definitely a good look.
Yeah. Kevin Love, we also know, isn't the best on the defensive end, which I think helps our Dallas handicap because, I'm pretty fine getting into a scoring battle here. So this is one of my favorite looks on the board tonight. I really do like the Mavericks. Low total here, Tyler, 214.5. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, I small lean to the under. Because
Oh, really? How come?
Dallas plays great team defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, where's Cleveland's offense going to come from outside of Garland? And if they start to slow him down, I mean, Cleveland could post 90 points here.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And couldn't you see it being one of those games where Garland gets like 29 and 13 and they still lose by 10 points?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, that's a good one. Our guy, We the People's on that as well. Let's move on. Hey, we're gonna smash through this slate here. We're doing a great job. Orlando Magic taking on the Wizards, -3.5 for Washington at home, 218.5 total, +136 on the money line. If you want to take the Magic, Tyler, do we crumple this up like the Jimmy Butler gif? I mean, these two lottery teams, tough. I know the Wizards have been playing better as of late. What are your thoughts on this one?
Orlando or pass for me. I mean, Kuzma's still out for Washington. They're on a back-to-back now. Mm-hmm. It's their third game in 4 nights, 5 game in 7 nights. Like, I just got to go Orlando or bust here. Mm-hmm. And you're getting them at dog money. Maybe take like a Cole Anthony 20+ and win. And with Wendell Carter out, you got to think Okeke gets some more run. Mm-hmm. You can get him 12+ points and Orlando wins at 3-1. So those are some ways I'd look at this game. And that Cole Anthony 18+ points and Orlando wins +430. I think they're in a good spot to pick up this win as an underdog.
Yeah, I mentioned Nate Duncan, and I was listening to them last night, and they were talking about Cole Anthony, his future in the league. What do you think? They were kind of projecting him as like a low-end starter or maybe a really good backup. Where do you see Cole Anthony eventually in his career.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect description of him. Like on bad teams, he'll probably have to start. But if he ever gets on a good team, he'd be a hell of a sixth man. I mean, imagine
Like
him in
the
a Jordan
Jalen
Clarkson
Brunson
role.
role. Yeah.
Imagine him in a Jordan Clarkson
Yeah.
role. Just come in, run the second unit, and chuck the ball. So I
Yeah.
think that'd be perfect for him. But until he gets out of Orlando or until they get another point guard in there, he's the starter.
Yeah, and I mean, they're trying with Fultz and Jalen Suggs both on that roster, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I didn't necessarily love that game. You know, the Wizards have been winning even with Kuzma out. They've won 2 in a row. The Magic have definitely been in a slump, but I'm fine staying away from that game. Let's move on to your favorite team, Tyler. The Charlotte Hornets are -3 in New York in Madison Square Garden, taking on the Knicks. +3 for the Knicks, total of 222. +133 on the money line for the Knicks. Tyler, you know, we talked pretty bad about the Knicks when they went against the Bulls. They got that victory. Then they fell in their most recent game, but overall they've been playing pretty good. What do you think of the Knicks' chances tonight against the Hornets, who have won 6 of the last 8 games?
I'm siding with the Hornets here, spread. I mean, I know last week the Knicks beat up on the Hornets. They beat them by almost 20 points in their home arena.
That was on Wednesday night, right?
You look at the shooting numbers.
Yeah.
The Knicks shot 50% from the field, 44% from 3, and 88% from the free throw line. They damn near shot 50, 40, 90 as a team. I don't see them doing that again here. LaMelo Ball put up big numbers in that game too, so I think he comes out and does that again. So going to side with Charlotte here, picking up the win. And you look, remember last game we talked about them after or on a back-to-back, they were the league's worst against the spread. Well, after a loss, they're 20, 14, and 2 against the spread with a average margin of victory at 12 points. I think they're going to come in and smash right here. So give me Charlotte, give me LaMelo Ball 20 plus and win, his double and win, and his points plus assist over 28.5.
All right, you like LaMelo, and we the people and the chat have been doing a great job on this Terry Rozier.
I mean, just that
you think
whole
they both get there?
Yeah, that backcourt's just going to feast. I mean, Alec Burks and Evan Fournier playing defense on them. I mean, those two should just eat the whole game.
I still don't understand how Evan Fournier ended up on a Tom Thibodeau team, right? Isn't that like the two opposite styles, right? Fournier all offense.
It's because they couldn't shoot last year, so they looked at free agency and they're like, "Oh, there's a shooter. Let's sign him."
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, but they took away what they were really elite at and weakened it, and now they're just average at everything, and they have below average results. So it seems like everybody likes the Hornets here, even Jonathan Nelson. So -3, right? So let's say I don't have the good performance doubles like you, not nearly the same numbers and the same lucrative options on Bet Online that you have on FanDuel. What if I just want to lay the -3, Tyler? What do you think?
I'd lay the -3. I think they pick up the win easy tonight.
All right, I think I'm going to put that in right now. Let's talk about this is a great game. I think this is a really fun schedule tonight, right? We'll throw that Wizards game out the window, but this is another really good one. The Minnesota Timberwolves +2.5 in Toronto, taking on the Raptors. Total of 229, +127 for the Timberwolves, right? And the Timberwolves have kind of had a rough week, but they've been losing to really quality teams. The most recent game they lost to the Celtics. Can't remember the score off the top of my head. I think it's something like 134 to 112. But, that's against Boston Celtics, who are playing some of the best basketball in the NBA, right? They lost to Phoenix last week. That was tough. They split with Dallas last week. They got the win at home, lost in Dallas. So they've been playing top quality competition. Now they head up to Toronto, a team that's playing much better with OG Anunoby back in the lineup, and they're moving their way up the standings as well. This is two teams playing really good basketball right now. Toronto on a homestand, they're trying to sweep the homestand. I think this is the 4th game they'll play at home, and they're 3-0 so far on this homestand, even with a speaker blowing up and catching fire during their win over the Indiana Pacers. So, nothing seems to be able to stop this team, Tyler, not even the fire department. So we got two teams playing really well. Raptors have been getting better results, but like I said, I don't necessarily downgrade the Timberwolves for those recent spate of losses against really good teams. How do you approach this one?
I'm going to side with Toronto here. This is one of them weird matchups where both teams are playing very well. Minnesota's been ripping off wins, and against the spread, they're 11-4 ATS and straight up in their last 15.
Yeah.
But they've lost 3 of their last 4 games.
But like I said, they're really good teams.
Yeah, very good team. Toronto's the same way. They're killing teams right now. They're 8-3 ATS in their last 11, 9-2 straight up in that span. But you look at the matchups between these two teams, I know they play twice a year, but we've talked about just teams having other teams' numbers when they go to their arenas. Minnesota's 1-7 straight up against Toronto in their last 8. In their last 17 trips to Toronto spread, they're 1-16. So I'm going to side with Toronto here. Minnesota's also given up the most 3-point attempts to opponents over the last 5 games. So I like OG to hit 3+ threes, and Toronto wins at like 4-1. Trent to hit 3+ threes and win at like plus 150. Siakam to hit 2 and win at plus 430, and him to get 25+ and win.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, Towns should have a big night though. What do you think about his prospects, and what are his numbers looking like? Right, because Toronto's got those great forwards. I don't really love their ability to play defense.
Well, it'll probably be Siakam playing the center at most of the point. They only play Birch or Boucher for little periods of time.
How do you think Towns will do against Siakam?
I think that kind of hinders him a little bit because that gives him a guy that actually can chase him around on the outside and not just a tree that's stuck down under the hoop that won't come out there to guard him.
Yeah.
So I still think he could put up a nice number, but I think Siakam could play some good defense on him.
They're going to need a big night from Anthony Edwards if they're going to win here, because he's the one guy, is athletic, long, and well coached as the Raptors are on the perimeter. Anthony Edwards just has that physical ability to be able to beat any of those guys. So I think that how he performs kind of will dictate the game. So if you see a big night from my guy A1, Tyler might lose his pick here, but Tyler likes the Raptors. He's laying the 2.5, and he gave out those great performance doubles. My guess is we'll hear one of those when we're swinging for the fences at the end of the show. Another play I like, Tyler, I'm going to be contrarian here. The Miami Heat are heading to Boston to take on the Celtics. -5.5 for the Celtics. Total of 213, plus 180 on the money line for the Heat. Our guy JJ, right? He's always telling us to buy low. I think we're getting that opportunity with the Heat here going against a Boston team that, hey, they lost Robert Williams. Hey, great news, though. Did you hear Robert Williams actually, I thought he was done for the year, right? They're saying that he's had the surgery. I think it was today or yesterday. He could be back by the second round. I think Boston's going to finish really high in the standings. They should be able to get past that first round matchup. Then he could return, potentially play the Bucks or the Nets or whoever they meet up with when they're really going to need him. That's great news for Celtics fans and for Celtics backers. But for tonight, he's not going to be out there. That means you got old Al Horford out there. He was great against Embiid and nobody else, right? Daniel Tice. I know you like Grant Williams, but I think he might be a little small here going against my guy Bam Adebayo, who I know is really popular here. JSU is going to love this pick because I'm going to take the Miami Heat plus the points. What do you think, Tyler?
I'm on the other side of you here. Okay. I've got to take Boston here. I mean, they're getting their stars back off of a rested game, Tatum and Brown, so they should be ready to go here. Mm-hmm. You look at their recent game spread, they've just been blowing the doors off of teams. Like the last relatively competitive game they played in, Tatum put up 54. So Miami can keep it close here. These guys are going to post huge numbers. I know Robert Williams missing is big, but you look at the games they played against Miami, they beat them 95-78 with Miami fully healthy on one side and Boston healthy on the other. And then they beat them 122-92, but that was without Jimmy Butler, so we could ball that up and throw it away. Mm-hmm. But Robert Williams didn't do much in either of those games, box score-wise, so I didn't really go back and watch the game to see how much he impacted it. But Daniel Tice is back. They'll put him in the lineup, I think, more to guard Bam. I think Tatum's going to have a big game. His points plus rebounds are 35.5. I think he can clear that number easy in just points. And he's cleared that number in recent games, blowing teams out and only playing the low 30 minutes. So if he gets the high 30 minutes here, he's going to blow that number out. So that's my favorite look in this game, and I'm going to side with Boston here.
All right, yeah, we get to be opposite here, and I think Butler's going to be fired up for this game, man. This is a team that's got something to prove. Of course, they ended that 4-game losing streak beating the Kings, but does that really mean much, right? I think to get back on track, they need a quality win over a good team.
So where are you be missing 3 bench guys?
Yes, of course it does, right? You're talking about Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, and Gabe Vincent, who are questionable, right? And that's who you're referring to?
Yeah.
I mean, not good, of course, but Boston doesn't necessarily have the bench that worries me either. So I think they should be able to eat that. But I'm just thinking a motivated Butler could hopefully give Tatum some problems. So we'll see. I think that's going to be a great matchup. But my main matchup that I really like is without Robert Williams out there. I expect Bam Adebayo to have a big night. Maybe that's the difference here. We just got to keep it close. So that's going to be fun. We the people, we agree. I love it. I love it. What a turn of events here today.
I got our guy on our side, though.
Yeah,
on my
but
side.
Gregory Russo, it likes Boston here. So you know what? It seems like the chat's divided. The panel's divided here today. So that, you know what, that makes for some fun, right? It's no fun when we just sit here and agree on every single game. I think this is must-see TV tonight, and I think it's going to be kind of a referendum on the Heat going into the playoffs, right? If the Heat are able to do what I think tonight, right, and play a good game, then we vault them back up there, right? Hey, this team can do anything. If they lose tonight and they lose in the fashion that you're predicting, Tyler, like let's say it's a double-digit loss where the Heat aren't necessarily competitive, does that impact how you would view their opportunities to advance in the playoffs, or would you say that I'm being too recency bias or
I
whatever?
think it is.
Okay.
Like before I was saying this was my favorite team to come out of the East. I don't think that way anymore. I think it's back to Milwaukee coming out and then playing Phoenix in a rematch.
Yeah, I mean Milwaukee's looking good, and we're going to get to that. Oh, that game's tomorrow. Their next game's tomorrow. I've already been prepping for that one because that's must see TV to me too. The Nets and the Bucks. Oh man,
Yeah, with
the
everybody
NBA.
back now.
Yeah, everyone says regular season doesn't matter, but I'm loving this right now. Here's a game that doesn't matter unless you're playing daily fantasy. The Sacramento Kings are -3, heading to the Houston Rockets +3. For the side, Tyler, let's Jimmy Butler this, but a total of 229.5.
Not so
Give me the
fast on Jimmy
over.
Butler in the side spread. I mean, I think we're getting a nice plus price on a team that actually has some guys that want to win, to where your team's just kind of thrown it in the trash. Jalen
Yeah.
Green and these guys might stink on defense, but they're still giving that full effort on the offensive end.
Yeah.
And we're getting plus price on them. Give me the Rockets here.
Okay, you're taking the Rockets. I'm taking the over. Maybe we'll put them together. That was a pretty good breakdown. What do you think of my idea? Hey, just take the over here with the league's 29th best defense facing the league's 30th best defense.
No, for sure. It's definitely an over game. I like Davion Mitchell's points plus assist prop at 29.5. It's a little higher than it's been recently. He's putting up 20 points and about 7+ assists in his last 5 games. So definitely like that prop. I like Jalen Green 15+ and win at about plus 200.
Oh,
3
that's
plus
good.
threes and win, 20+ and win. So that's the way I'm approaching this game.
Jalen Green's talent's really starting to shine through. And I did a show this morning, right? And my the guy that I do the show with is from Houston, but he lives in Las Vegas now. And we were talking about Jalen Green and how good he's looked. And I said, the same thing happened, right? Because you remember you told me about Jalen Green. And then at the beginning of the G League last year, I watched and I said, bro, this Kuminga guy is better than your guy, right? And this was like the second or third game of the G League season, right? But then when I watched again towards the end of the season, it was like, no. Jalen Green's the best player on the floor, right? And it's like sometimes these guys are young. We expect so much of them so fast. He's really learning the game well. I agree with Tyler. Easy money tie here. Jalen Green over 20.5. I mean, that's great. I think we the people's got a great way to run it back. Davion Mitchell's been doing fantastic over on the PRA, or maybe just go over on the points, whatever way you want to look at it. What do you think about Davion Mitchell potentially guarding Jalen Green? Would that be a worry for you if I'm playing this prop?
I mean, not really. I mean, he's going to have to do a lot on the offensive end because they really have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he could still bring the defensive intensity, but I'm really not that worried about it.
All right. And my guy at West Coast said, hey, don't forget your favorite player on the Rocket spread, Şengün.
Probably not going to play tonight.
Yeah, I know. That's why. But anyways, I just had to throw any Şengün comment on the screen. Our guy, George Polsky. Good question here. Trey Lyles over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Not a guy that we normally target on this show, but we do like to target big men against the Rockets. What do you think about that play?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I have to check his minutes log and see how many minutes he's playing. But if he's playing a good amount of minutes, definitely like that.
All right. Yeah, nice game stack here. Drew Carpenter and who put this in? West Coast Gem. Houston Sac is a great DFS game. And to see how, our coordinators, our experts, our team of winners is going to approach that, of course, you want to become a member of runpuresports.com. Use that promo code GETBETS. Join it. Any more great comments I got to throw on here? Oh, Kenyon Martin Jr. What do you think about his props tonight, Tyler?
I don't think they have anything posted for him.
Okay. Yeah, and boy, I remember him as a member of the New Jersey Nets. His father, that is. So, boy, definitely showing my age here. But you never watched any Kenyon Martin in your life, have you, Tyler?
No, I have. I remember his days on the Nuggets with Carmelo. It was him,
Oh, okay.
Nene, J.R. Smith, Melo, AI.
Yeah. Okay. And if I remember right, he was a Cincinnati Bearcat, but don't hold me to that. Josh Christopher, sneaky for DFS, definitely agree there. So, all right. Anything more on this game? More than I thought that we get for what's essentially really a throwaway game, right? I
No,
mean,
that's it for me. Just Rockets or pass. There's no way I could bet the Kings here.
yeah. No. So here's the thing. I agree with you, right? So I'm already throwing the over bet in. Do I take the +3 or do I just take the +133?
I'm taking the plus 130. I'm not taking the points.
Yeah, why would I bother? I think the time it's not going to come down to the last second. Uh, I'm taking +133 here too. That's a great pick. Let's go to another game that seems like it's a throwaway for one side, not necessarily the other, but I think the books line this one correctly. The Atlanta Hawks in Oklahoma City taking on the Thunder plus 12.5 for the Thunder at home. 229 plus 646. Tyler, the Thunder were my ATS darling. We rode them for a while, but part of this business is knowing when to pull the thing and get off the bus, right? I think that was about a couple weeks ago, right? The Thunder have basically said, no more of this. We're winning. We missed out on that top 3 pick last year, right? And they're sitting there, and they did a great job getting Josh Giddey, right? But they wanted a guy like Jalen Green or Evan Mobley to really spur on this rebuild, and I think they really want it this year. I think of all the teams that are low in the standings, they are the most committed to the tank because they've been doing this for a couple years now. They want to get that top draft pick and really start building and acting like a real NBA competitive team and not this. So I think the Thunder are committed to the tank here, but 12.5 is a lot. I still lean Atlanta. I don't want to bet the Hawks on the road. Am I missing something? Like they could win by 20. It could seem like an easy bet.
It's just Hawks or pass for me. I mean, I think OKC is in that same place they were last year. Remember, they just threw the white flag in, got everybody out of the lineups, and started losing games by like 30 to 40 points then the year.
Yeah.
I think we're here right now.
Yeah, that's where they are.
They just threw a bunch of guys out for the season now.
Yeah, anyone who had anything.
Yeah,
like
now,
a bruise on your forearm.
Looking at this, I'd bet you Trey Mann doesn't play tonight. They're going to start to sit everyone. So it's Atlanta or pass for me. I think they will cover that spread easy. And if you want to take a shot on like a Trey Young 30 plus and win, or cross your fingers and hope Capella gets the minutes he's had recently and do like a 15 plus rebound and win. That's the only way to bet this.
All right. Yeah. We the people says props are priced out here, but he likes OKC to cover. And hey, you know what? I mean, would that be that surprising? No, because I don't necessarily trust Atlanta. I mean, they're in 10th place for a reason. They kind of ran purity to make the finals last year, I thought, so I'm not we've made
they just won their last game too. Like, they're like, no, we can't win 2 in a row. Can't even come close to winning 2 in a row.
I think that we found some great looks so far. I'm completely
and
fine.
Just look at that lineup they sent out last game.
Poku, what was it? Can you read it out to me?
Wiggins, Maladon, Roby. I'm not even gonna butcher the last name. It's like Krejci.
Oh, Krejci.
Yeah. And then off the bench came Sarr, Waters, Robinson.
Yeah. And this is another one, right, where it's going to be great to be a member of Run Pure Sports and watching that Up to Lock show, because these are a bunch of players that we don't know. And somehow JSU and Travis Mangone have their biographies, like, oh, they lived in an apartment in 8th grade. It's just crazy how much these guys know about these players, but that's how they are able to give out all the winners. So make sure you become a member. RunPureSports.com. Promo code GetBets. Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Spurs tonight. Spurs are +5 at home. Total of 234 plus 180 there on the money line. Tyler, is this tricky here? Is this tricky, right? You first look, you say, I want Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable. I don't know. I didn't even know. I thought the Spurs were on the tank too, but then they've been playing better. Catching 5 at home. Line seems pretty good. I've loved Memphis. Of course, they're the best team against the spread this season. But the books have kind of caught on. Like, you don't even downgrade them with John Moran out. They're still doing fine in the regular season. They're going to need them for the playoffs. But, I think they moved the lines back to where they should be. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't want to take Memphis on the road here. Am I missing out? What do you think?
I'm on Memphis here.
Okay.
I mean, the Spurs got that 10th seed now. They could lose this game and still hold that tiebreaker over the Lakers. So
No. They're in 11th right now.
no, they're not.
I'm looking at. Do I need to refresh my
You got to
standings? I got
refresh.
Lakers at 31 and. Oh wow. I needed to refresh. Excuse me. I had those up from yesterday. So you're right. They did move in the 10th seed, but they are tied, right? Both teams are 31 and
They
44.
own the tiebreaker though with the better conference record.
Yeah,
so
that's why they moved
they
them
can
ahead,
lose.
right?
They can lose this game and still be fine. This is probably one of the last games on their schedule that they can't, like, looking at it, it's like we probably don't have a realistic chance at winning this, even with Moran out, because Memphis without him, we've talked about it. They just keep rolling. They got to be what, like 20-1 now at this point. But over their last 5, they're 5-0. There's 3 wins over Golden State, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. The Milwaukee one and the Brooklyn one came on the road, I believe. I know the Brooklyn one did.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just that spot where I think Memphis minus the 5 is the way to go. I know John Morant's beat up this team all year in the 3 matchups they've played, but they beat them by 13, 8, and 13. Now we get a discount on the line. Tyus Jones should step in and get some of that usage. Desmond Bain should put up a nice number. I see they have Tyus Jones listed at 14 plus points and win, plus 186. I like that. I like the Bain 20 plus and win, the 3 plus threes and win, and maybe even doing the Steven Adams double like the people said in the chat.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let me throw that on the screen there. We got a lot of comments here. I got to scroll back a little. DeJounte and Keldon have big game. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to argue with you there. I think this is a great set here for Kevin. Memphis 9-1 first quarter, last 10. Sauce Boss saying that Memphis and the Timberwolves have both been crushing. This is great information from the chat. I love having you guys in here helping the show out become even better because I mentioned this, but or thought about it, but nice to have a little bit of confirmation. That will be nice to play the Trailblazers twice, right? As this season winds down, and the Lakers have a gauntlet of a schedule because when the schedule
the Lakers' schedule is ridiculous to end the year.
Because it's like Milwaukee, right? They thought they were going to be one of the top teams in the West, so they thought they were going to get all these premier games, right? Like Milwaukee has been the team to watch this week, right? They played the 76ers, then they played the Nets, and on Friday night they have another big game too. Let me jump ahead to find that, but I mean they are going to have.
I mean the Spurs don't outside of those 2 games, they really don't have an easy path either. It goes Grizzlies tonight, Blazers back to back. Nuggets, Timberwolves, Warriors, Mavericks.
But the thing is, getting close to those last games, you could have everyone sitting if they're sitting their spots.
Yeah, that is true.
And like then, the last game or 2, and if San Antonio still needs it, so.
And the Lakers go at the Jazz, home for the Pelicans, home for the Nuggets, at the Suns, at the Warriors, home for the Thunder, at the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And I know they thought those were going to be like marquee matchups. Do you agree with our guy Easy Money Ty here? He says that it's probably around 6.5. If
yeah, that number will definitely bump up if he gets rolled in.
Do you think he'll play? I kind of feel like he sits.
Yeah, I think he's going to sit.
Yeah. So, all right. West Coast is the Lakers GM and coach have to go. Yeah, that guy Pelinka, man, weird way to become a GM, right? You're Kobe's agent. And now the next thing you know, you're a GM. It's not even like the agent for like 25 NBA players where he was deeply connected in the league. He's the agent for one guy. Granted, a Lakers legend, but it was only one guy here. Frank Vogel, I think that he's kind of unfairly maligned here because I don't think that Phil Jackson could have won with this team. I mean, maybe he would have given Westbrook like the right book to read and they could have gone to the desert and taken peyote and all of a sudden Westbrook understands his role on the team, but I doubt it. So, LeBron, greatest player, worst GM of all time. That's how I'm looking at that one. All right, Tyler. Well, you didn't necessarily sell me on the Grizzlies. I'm fine staying away from this game. Total 234. What do you think of the total?
Probably just to stay away from the total.
It's a high number.
Yeah, high number. They could get there, but also could see them not getting there with a couple different paths. So just going to stay away from it.
I almost think so. Let's say you do like the over. It's like I talked about earlier. Why don't you just take the Memphis team total over, right? We'll take the good offense against the bad defense and not worry about the Spurs getting us there. Because if you are right and Memphis does blow this team out, it goes under. If the game's close, it goes over. So I don't know. I think it's weird because a lot of times we correlate taking the points with the under, but in this case, I think taking the points is correlated with the over. 2 games left. This is our biggest spread of the night because it's the Tank Blazers, not the Trailblazers. This team has embraced the tank more than anyone. I said the Thunder had. I stand corrected. The Trailblazers have truly committed to the tank. The Pelicans will be the team that's able to take advantage of that tonight. But the sports books know the line is 14.5. That's how much the Pelicans are laying on the road here on a total of 225 plus 835. If you wanted to be crazy and take the Trailblazers on the money line, which I do not. I don't know. I don't want to lay 14.5, but it's probably the right side. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna bet this game, I'd probably just lay the 14. I mean, Josh Hart's still out, Watford's still out, Winslow's now out too, Greg Brown's in, Didi's in. Like, maybe some of these Portland guys put up a nice DFS number, but New Orleans needs these wins to stay in that play-in. So they're going to win this game. It's just, are they going to cover that number?
Mm-hmm.
I like the CJ McCollum looks, the 25 plus points, 4 plus threes, 8 plus assists, 30 plus points, always player performance doubles. And you could even go Brandon Ingram here because they really don't have a wing to guard him either. You could do him 30 plus 25 plus 3 plus threes. So that's my way of approaching this game. And even taking CJ's points plus assists, the combo bet is 28.5. I think that's a nice number. And this is the CJ revenge game spread. They just said that in the chat.
Yeah. You know what's funny, though? I do expect a big game from him, but it's not revenge, right?
Yeah,
it's almost like it's going to be a CJ celebration. Like, I think he's going to get a warm response. Nobody's going to get mad at him for beating the home team because they all want to lose, right? He even said, like, hey, it was time for me to move on. So I don't know if it's revenge.
That last comment in the chat, we should talk about that for a minute because that might change everything.
Let's do it. Jump in. Let me know.
The rumor is the other guy's waiting in the wings to see how he plays.
He's not coming back.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you 100% sure about that? Because his name's
I'm not 100%. I'm 99%.
His name's now on injury reports now, and he's on there tomorrow, and it says 4 games.
Okay. I've heard from I don't have many sources anymore, but I've heard that he's shut down for the season. But
yeah, I heard a little different. I heard he's kind of he's for the most part shut down, but they walk through the play-in. Paul George looks great. He might show up in the first round. That changes everything, I think, because where would you rank them at if those two are back on the floor in the West? I say 2.
2.
Yeah, I say they jump all the way up to 2. They're right behind the Suns, and they could play the Suns right off the bat. So I don't hate throwing like $20 on them to win the West at like 26-1.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't think that he will be back. That's
I think last night, if you keep getting performances like that out of him, you're gonna get some news coming out of that camp that he's gonna start ramping up his rehab, back on the court playing. So I'd watch out.
So here's the deal, right? Why would you wait till next season? The guy probably can't make it through a full season ever again. Right?
No, that's what I mean. Like if he's good to go and your team's into the playoffs,
they should just do this every year.
Yeah, just throw your 2 guys back on the floor and just say,
bring them around,
you're playing
game
40
70.
minutes a game.
Yeah. So, Clippers plus 4,000 is a number right now. Yeah. Oh boy, Tyler says, that's some strong comments here. He says doctors advised him to take a few more weeks, but he felt good and wanted to be there for his guys. Yeah, I mean, it's
almost like he got word of the other guy might come back too if he shows that he can play. So he's like, I'm going to power through my injury to get my main guy back.
And at this point, right, it's not like they're really killing their future earnings.
No.
They've already made $200 million.
Imagine they get Kawhi and Norm Powell back.
There's no way Powell comes back, is there?
His name's not back on that list too.
Wow.
Looking at tomorrow's injury report in that Clippers-Chicago game, Kawhi is now injury 5 games, estimated return 410. Norm Powell, injury 3 games, left foot, estimated return 4.6.
Wow. Okay. See? All right. Well, this is why I like doing the show. You guys keep me up on everything, so I appreciate that. That's some good knowledge there, Tyler. All right. Any other thing else? We're going to take some detours like we do with JSU. Anything else we should just dive into?
I mean, they're calling Kawhi overrated in the chat. How do you feel about that? I don't know many other guys that can defend the best player on one end and be the main offensive focused on the other.
Can he do that anymore, though, on the defensive end?
I mean, I think he can.
Yeah.
He was doing it last year before his ACL popped.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't think he's overrated. I think that injuries are always going to be a part of his career, and that I would say out of all like these elite guys, he's probably the guy I at least want to build my team around.
Yeah, because he's just not. He doesn't do anything that really like pushes you over the top. You know what I mean? He just plays like fundamental basketball. Like, yeah, you can give him the ball and be like, "Go score me 40," but that's also not his game. Like, he wants to play in the flow of the game. So I could understand that, like, not when to build your team around him.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think is better as far as injuries? Kawhi or Anthony Davis?
What do you mean better as? Like, comes back quicker, gets hurt more?
Who will play more games out in their career?
Kawhi.
Okay. All right. Be interested to see what the chat thinks about that. Yeah, I mean, who's going there? All right. Jake's got a play of the day here on the Pelicans. He says Pelicans team total over 120. What do you think of that one? I kind of agree there, right?
Yeah, I like that.
When you like these overs on these blowout games, I think that you go with the team total on the favorite team. That's what I think. So, yeah, boy, this is great. This is great Discord here, and I can't put it all on the chat, but you guys are doing
Street
awesome.
clothes Davis.
Always damaged. There we go. AD always damaged. All right. Chat is on fire today, Tyler. I thought our picks were good. The chat comments might be even better. Let's go to the end of the night, man. This is going. Okay, you know when they made the schedule, they thought this was going to be must-see TV. Obviously, with Steph out, does not mean as much, but still going to be a pretty good game. The Phoenix Suns lane 5. They're the best road team in the NBA, however, to the Golden State Warriors, catching 5 at home, total of 221. Let me recheck this injury report. Cam Johnson up to doubtful now. He's no longer out. No JaVale McGee, so no JaVale McGee revenge narrative for Mangone. I know he's probably disappointed about seeing the McGee revenge game. Gabriel Lundberg, Tyler, is that a name I should know?
I don't think so.
Okay, I know the DFS guys know. That doesn't change my handicap at all. Draymond Green will play. Klay Thompson will play. Quindary Weatherspoon will play. And Otto Porter will play. Steph Curry still out here. My guess is you're going to take the Suns. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. I just want to thank Draymond and Klay and Otto Porter for coming off that injury report and lowering the number for us. Now we're getting it at 5. I'd take the first quarter. I think they blow them out in the first quarter because Phoenix is one of the better first quarter teams, and especially on the road. I like the Chris Paul points plus assists prop. That prop's sitting at 25.5. They really don't have anybody to guard him in that backcourt. And Gary Payton's the only guard that can really play defense. You got to think he's going Devin Booker's way.
Klay Thompson can't play defense?
If there's anybody whose legs are brittled, it's not Kawhi's, it's Klay's.
Well, Klay's at least on the court.
Yeah. For how long, though? He plays in like 10-minute stints, plays like 28 minutes a game still. So
Klay's like the most popular guy in the whole Bay Area, right?
Oh, I mean, I know that, but like you got to think
he's
about
like Jerry Garcia.
We were just like in the conversation we just had about injuries. Like this guy tore his ACL and then blew his Achilles out. Yeah. Opposite legs. Like slows you down pretty much, I'd say.
Yeah.
So give me Phoenix here. Give me those props. I like the Chris Paul double and win. I like the 8 and double and win. I like the Booker 30+ and win, and I like the Booker 4+3s and win.
All right, and our guy Robert, he sent this to me earlier through the direct message, so I want to thank him for that. But talk about hashtag trends, right? Suns haven't lost on Wednesday since November, and I paused it to him. I said, I wonder if that's because a lot of teams have Tuesdays off, so that means it's Phoenix at a rested spot, not
and we know Chris Paul's a petty motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
You beat them, Dallas picks up the win. You push them down to 4. Now they have to meet you in the second round. We know he hates Steph Curry. Now he has the
Why does he hate Steph Curry? Who could hate Steph Curry?
Think about all the times he beat him in the playoffs. The time at Houston, again, went to Game 7. He got hurt. The Warriors get away. The next year they beat him. He crossed him up when he was on the Clippers a couple times. He was a highlight reel on ESPN. Now
So
you have the advantage. You can knock him out of the playoffs. Yeah, he's knocking him down to the 4 seed, and he's licking his chops at getting him in the second round.
Dave threw something in the chat here. ESPN game for Chris Paul. We know the trend there. I don't know the trend.
He gets up for these big games.
Oh, he plays better on ESPN?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know that. So, see, you learn something every day. See, Dave, don't assume that we know everything. We're working hard to bring us all the information, but I'm not aware of all the trends. Well, thanks to Robert, I knew that they hadn't lost in Wednesday since November. That's a wild trend. I love when people find stuff like that, Tyler says, with all the teams that Chris Paul has lost to, he must hate everybody. Kind of seems like that, doesn't he?
Yeah, for sure. He definitely hates everybody.
All right. Yeah. Dave says CP3 always plays up on national TV. We the People says Ayton and CP3 will eat heat here, and Booker will be Booker. Yeah, we'll see some Booker T. Spinaroonie action tonight. He got that lifetime State Farm contract. Yeah,
over under 1.5 quarters of Chris Paul putting Draymond in the pick and roll before he's freaking out on the refs and getting a technical.
Would you really want to put Draymond in the pick and roll, though? He's not that bad on the perimeter.
He's not, but you pull him out, and now you leave like Jordan Poole behind DeAndre Ayton, and it's like, here you go, big guy.
Yeah.
Get him out of the way and lay it in.
So do I just lay the 5 here, or do I go performance double? Should I be worried about 5 points?
I'm not.
Okay. We're taking some road favorites tonight. A little bit worried.
I think we'll be fine.
All right. Well, we've been doing fine so far, so maybe I shouldn't be.
Fine.
You know what's so funny, Tyler? I can win 10 in a row, and I'm always like nervous when I hit submit. Right? It doesn't matter how well I'm doing it. All and maybe that's why
I've learned in this league when you think about it 2 times to 3 times, you usually screw yourself. So I stick with what I first lock in on when I look at a game.
Yeah, and maybe that's the key to our success, right? We don't have time to overthink it, right? We wake up, we get the lines, and we're ready to go. So, I mean, I look at them the night before, but yeah, he says open shots all day for the Suns after that pick and roll with Ayton. And boy, I still can't believe that they didn't re-up with him. We'll be interested to see how that works in the offseason. But Tyler, our man Gregory Russo has one thing right, and that is that the best bets are coming. So what do you got for us today, Tyler?
There's a lot to pick from.
Yeah. I don't think people are going to be mad if you give out more than one.
Oh, there's definitely going to be more than one.
All right, let's
hear as for the sides, give me that Phoenix -5.
Okay.
And the Houston money line at +130.
Okay. And I got both those in the queue.
Give me the CP3 over 25.5 points plus assists, and the Jason Tatum over 35.5 points plus rebounds.
Say that one more time.
The Jason Tatum over 35.5 points plus rebounds.
Why did Bookmaker log me out? I got all my things and I'm logged out. Unbelievable. All right. There you go. So you got that. I'm going to go back to the Dallas Mavericks -2. I think that is an absolutely great play here. Like I said, it's like Cleveland's good, but with all the injuries they're dealing with, this is really going to be tough. And I think we got a little bonus because, yes, the Spencer did when he's out for 10 games. That hurts the Mavericks. For one night only, Jalen Brunson and Luka easily eat up that usage. I think we'll be okay. And more importantly, I still have we the people's not going to like this, but I got my good defenders out there, right? I still got Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock there. That's going to give Darius Garland some problems. And of course, without Allen and Mobley out there, Kevin Love, great offensive player, not so great on the other end. And we the people, we got to give these out, man, because you've been doing great here. You throw these winners in the chat every day. I got to definitely give you your recognition. He says, my best bets are CP3 and DeAndre Ayton double and the win. So wait, you're doing both of them? That's got to give you some pretty good odds.
I think he's saying both the performance doubles, because there's one listed for CP3 double and win and an Ayton double and win.
Can you do both of them?
I'm not sure, because you can't parlay the performance doubles in the same game.
Okay.
You could parlay them like one with another game, like we've been doing.
That'd be. Oh, he said straight bets on both. All right.
Yeah, so he's doing both the performance doubles.
All right. So everybody, thank you for joining us. RunPureBets.com, promo code GetBets. Tyler, I'm throwing that softball over the plate. Time to swing for the fences. What do you got?
As for this one, I mean, looking at these odds, they're not the best. We'll do a 17-1.
Okay.
It's going to be Luka to double and Dallas wins. LaMelo to put up 20-plus points and Charlotte wins, and DeAndre Ayton to double-double and Phoenix wins.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Great show today. We weren't able to bring on a guy from the Run Pure Sports side, but with such a heavy slate, I think it turned out great because we probably would have gone way into the hardwood show. So we will be back with JSU tomorrow, and I haven't forgotten, but just in case I do, Tyler, remind me, chat, remind me.
You're finally going to get a guy on your side. You're going to be dumbfounded if he says Booker.
You're
gonna have nothing left.
And if he does that, I will say, okay, I got to go rewatch this. I need to revisit my opinion because a bunch of smart people
what's the worst part about
tomorrow's
spread?
What?
I'm getting the 15-minute explanation on how he's better, and I'm going to have to argue it.
Yeah.
And I don't have Title next to me who started this.
Well, I'll send him a link. I'll let Title know he might need to be on standby.
Yeah, I might need reinforcements for this one.
Yeah, and that's the great part about being a host, right? It's like almost like how the politicians do it, gerrymandering, so you automatically win. It's like, oh, well, let me wait for the guy who I think. But hey, I could be wrong. Like, so let's say. Let's set a line right now. What would you say the line is that he's going to say Booker's better? I'd put it at
plus 500.
I was going to say like plus 180. You think it's that high?
Yeah, I think he's a big jaw guy. I think he's going to go right to jaw. But he knows basketball, though, so he might be like, I love jaw, but Booker's the better player. So we'll have to see what he says tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
So that's show.
Yeah, that's what we call a tease in this industry. So tune in tomorrow to find out where JSU stands on our John Morant versus Devin Booker debate. Guys, we do this every day for you. Please just give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and most of all,